So welcome everyone. I just want to thank everyone for joining us today for our annual State of the Cities virtual luncheon. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us, and want to thank a few people, especially thanks to everyone who's attending, and especially thank you to our sponsor for today. We have a sponsor, Elizabeth Thompson, with the Law Office of Elizabeth Thompson. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I'm going to give you just a few minutes to tell us about you and your business. And the floor is yours for just a few minutes, for 5 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. I'm Elizabeth Thompson. I am an attorney, and I'm also a member of the Fife Milton Edgewood Chamber. I'm on the board and have been participating for, I think, around 3 or 4 years now. And I do live in the local area and practice in the local area. I am a solo practitioner. I specialize in general litigation. So I'm a trial lawyer with over 20 years of experience. I'm always happy to talk with people on an informal basis. Initial consultations are always free. If I can't help you, a lot of times I can find an attorney who can help you. I know a lot of attorneys in the area. I'm always happy to try and point you in the right direction to get the legal services that you need. So it's exciting to be here. I'm very excited to hear what the cities have to say. It's been a very tough time for everyone. And we certainly hope that people are getting through this and maybe the light's at the end of the tunnel. So some exciting times ahead, I think. Thank you, Laura. It was good to be with you, and I look forward to the presentation today.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I wanted to just briefly mention that this is a webinar today. It's not a regular Zoom call. So those of you who are attending will not be able to show your video. So if you have questions, please feel free to type in your questions in the chat or the Q&A. Preferably the Q&A, because I think I can probably manage it a little bit better if it's in the Q&A, but I will kind of monitor the chat as well. So given that, I want to welcome our 3 mayors. Thank you all for joining us today. We have I'm going to do it on the order of my screen. So we have the mayor of Milton, Shanna Styron-Sherrill. Thank you for joining us. And Mayor Kim Roscoe from the city of Fife, and Daryl Eidinger from the city of Edgewood. So thank you all. We appreciate you being here. This is something that we look forward to every year. This is an annual thing that we do, and we like to get updates on what's happening in all of the 3 cities in our community. And you know, like Elizabeth said, it's been a tough year. And I remember last year when we had this meeting, it was right as COVID just was starting, and we were all trying to figure out how we were going to do business when we couldn't do business. And it'll be interesting to see how events have changed things over the last year. So with that, let's start with Mayor Roscoe from the city of Fife, and then we'll go with Mayor Styron-Sherrill from Milton, and then Mayor Eidinger from Edgewood. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, and everyone out there for joining us. And especially thank you to Elizabeth Thompson for being the sponsor. That's great to know that we have such a local resource willing to make the connections that any folks may need beyond what you're able to provide. So hello to everyone, and especially hello to my partners in our great community, Mayor Styron-Sherrill and Mayor Eidinger.
If not, that's okay. I'll listen to it.
I can't tell if that's a Jim does Jim need to mute himself? I don't know. I don't know what I heard. So I do best with kind of a speech versus talking off the cuff, I think, which Mayor Eidinger is really good at. So bear with me as I go through some prepared remarks. And Laura, I don't know if you have an opportunity for questions, but I can definitely field any questions if necessary.
Yes, sorry, I should have said that in the very beginning, but we'll hear from each of you, and then at the end we'll do a quick Q&A all together at the end.
Right, and is that, I think I saw that that was going to be via the chat. Okay.
Yes, either the chat or the Q&A box.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So as I already let you know, I am Kim Roscoe, the mayor for the city of Fife, and I'll be going over a bit of our city's pandemic response and a number of projects we've successfully completed and taking a look at what's happening in the city. First, our pandemic update. As we all know, the pandemic brought many challenges. From the first day, we focused on resiliency as our response. We tightened our budget to protect the city's financial position. We used our CARES Act funding to support our mission in helping as many people through this as we could. We prioritized our federal funding to support residents with utility payment and rental assistance. We also continue to offer help to local residents with utility payment relief. Our fiscal tightening last year helped the city's bottom line. The city has a positive financial outlook, and all our funds ended the year in a positive position. Looking ahead, we're doing our best to keep the city on track fiscally, to help our residents push through this pandemic and to be of assistance where we can be to our business community. As for other city updates, here's a department by department look at the state of our city. I'll share a bit about important projects that are in progress or that we have completed, as well as many more we're undertaking. For the police department, our police department has been working closely with a citizen advisory group, which has newly expanded, to move forward on the important areas of accountability, transparency, and inclusivity. The police department will incorporate recent legislative changes to their policy manual and training programs. They're also creating a forum to share information with our community about how these impacts will change our responses. One forum will be a new video series we're launching this month called Chat with the Chief. The video series will connect with community members by addressing topics of importance to our residents. The first video in the series addresses street racing. You can watch the video on our website at cityoffife.org. Human resources. The really good news is that our city is hiring and continuing to build our workforce. Our HR department has been busy working on recruitments for parks, recreation, and aquatics, public works, the police department, and more. If you know someone looking for a job, please have them check out our website. Public works. Our public works department celebrated the completion of the Port of Tacoma Road Phase 1 project with a virtual ribbon cutting in December that we streamed live. The completion marks a major milestone in improving the flow of traffic in the region and into and out of the Port of Tacoma. Because we don't sit still for very long, we're already working and pushing for funding Phase 2 of the Port of Tacoma Road project, which will further improve connections and the movement of people and goods through the region. City staff members have applied or are working on applying for multiple grants that represent funding opportunities. Additionally, we continue to lobby for state and federal funding to get this project moving. Public works staff are also working closely with WashDOT on the current State Route 167 Gateway project, which includes a new bridge over I-5, a roundabout on Pacific Highway East, and the extension of State Route 509 to I-5. Check out our website for more project details about this major undertaking. Community development. Future planning is a key for our community development department and our city. There is notable uptick in permits and inspections right now. Staff members also continue working on strategies for increasing affordable housing opportunities. The Community Development Department is working closely with the Fife Public Schools on their 2 construction projects, building the STEAM Center and the new Fife Elementary School. Community Development continues to champion the city's interests in relation to the Washington State Department of Transportation Puget Sound Gateway project that will result in State Route 167 extension and further connect our region's roadways and lead to big improvements in moving people and goods through the area. Finally, community development has been closely working with several local agencies, including the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, Port of Tacoma, City of Tacoma, and Pierce County in planning the future of the Tide Flats through a joint effort called the Tide Flats Sub-Area Plan. More information on that on our website. Parks, Recreation, and Aquatics. Like community development, this department is investing in long-term planning. The Parks team initiated a community-driven update to its Parks and Recreation and Open Space Plan, PROS for short. The plan is updated every 6 years and is a blueprint for parkland development, recreational opportunities, and more. As a first step, we invite you to take our survey, which you can do until June 13th. Give us an idea about what we should be doing. We've also been improving accessibility through our parks by making upgrades to our facilities and park spaces. Our Parks Department is now overseeing DACA Barn and is coordinating facility rentals in keeping with the current, coordinating those rentals, but is also keeping current on the pandemic restrictions. Our Aquatic Center has continued to thrive and serve our community. They are seeing more activity with the return of group swim lessons and other programming. We also look forward to possibly hosting some events this summer as restrictions allow. Our Finance Department has been implementing some recommendations following a state audit that was favorable for us with no findings. We'll be implementing some new checks and balances in our accounting processes in the coming months. Additionally, the Finance Department has completed a significant project in implementing new payment methods for utilities, including a pay-by-phone option. The Finance Department continues to manage the city's CARES Act funds, as well as keeping close watch over the city's budget and fiscal health. And finally, public outreach, which of course includes opportunities like this. Our community engagement team is working hard to make sure Fife is known as a regional shopping destination. They've been getting the word out about the upcoming opening of Amish Market, which is scheduled for the end of May if all goes well. They also helped publicize the opening of Boot Barn last fall, as well as Wiener Schnitzel. We want to ensure our community is informed of all our happenings through the city's social media and official publications. I hope everyone had the opportunity to read the latest edition of the Fife magazine. It was mailed to all residents and businesses in Fife in late April, but you can also read a digital copy of the magazine on our website. The theme of our most recent magazine was how our government works for you, and we truly do. If you have an idea or question for us, please don't hesitate to reach out. We look forward to serving you, our community this year, and exciting things are ahead. Thank you, and back to you, Laura.
All right, thank you, Mayor Roscoe. Now Mayor Styron Sherrill.
Thanks, Laura. So I do have a couple slides to share. Let me get that up real quick. And can you believe, out of all the Zoom meetings, this is the first time I've done a PowerPoint, so you'll have to bear with me on this. There we go. All right, so as Laura said, and I appreciate the introduction for all of us, I am Mayor Styron Sherrill for the City of Milton. I reached out to Laura last week to ask about, what could we discuss, what was the goals of this meeting, and she really gave us free rein, so I appreciate that. So as much as we'd like to forget about 2020, I want to recap some of the positive aspects and growth that the City of Milton had. If I was only given 2 words to recap 2020, I'd probably choose "we survived." I'm proud and humbled that we were able to keep all staff employed. We actually hired during this time, and we remained working on site most of during COVID. I'm relieved that we didn't lose any businesses in the City of Milton, and I'm humbled as well that we were able to help those hit hardest by COVID in our community through the CARES Act. And so I just want to focus on a couple of the things we did with the CARES funding this year. So as far as community assistance for COVID-19, we did spend a little over $375,000 in CARES funding. And some of the highlights that we gave back to the community with that was senior center supplies and programs. We did allocate $100,000 for small business assistance. I was actually surprised we only granted $60,000, but at least we got $60,000 out there. And then we also created, much like I believe Fife did, a utility assistance programs for those that were, those who are City of Milton utility billing. We allocated $50,000 for that. And another surprise, we only granted $11,000. And we did extend the deadline quite a few times, but in the end, that is all that I guess was needed by our community. So a positive sign, I think, for that in that aspect. Community engagement during COVID-19. We all face the same things of canceling our community events. So this year, of course, or in 2020, we didn't have Milton Days, the craft bazaar, and tree lighting. And so we looked for ways that we could engage and connect with our community. So we did a drive-through food distribution, and through partnerships, we provided 1,700 lunches and food packs. We started a senior letter writing program, and that connected our students with our seniors. We did a drive-through backpack event, which was, we hosted, but Mountain View Community Center actually did that here on our campus. We had a Santa parade. We also did banners for the class of 2020 along Milton Way, which was met with great support. We did senior winter care packages. We gave out 100 of those. And then that wasn't in 2020, we did an egg extravaganza drive-through event here at City Hall. Here. So some highlights that we wanted to share with you on city-led projects that happened in 2020. We installed new sidewalks and paving on Kent Street in Portaway, and that connects the ball field to the interurban trail and then up to City Hall. We secured $600,000 through federal and King County Park levies for the construction of a new interurban trail connection between Milton and Edgewood. We are currently selecting the consultant for the design of that, and we hope to get that completed this year, the design process of that. We installed new playground equipment. We did a new roof and siding for the Building A of City Hall. We completed the drilling for our new well, and that is also in the design phase for the treatment facility, and we hope to go into construction next year. We completed the design for Portaway and SR 99. That is a fully funded project that I believe will start construction in 2022. We completed paving projects, most notably on Laurel Street, 27th, 28th, and 5 Way. As part of our traffic calming measures, we added 5 electronic speed readers, which has helped reduce speed on some of our main roads that we have issues with. And then we issued 154 permits here at the City of Milton, which resulted in revenues of about $800,000 for the city. And so through 2020, 2020 created hardship for many in our community and across the nation. I'm truly thankful that in the end, we were able to survive and get through it. As always, our community and city administration came together to take care of each other, our businesses, and our neighboring communities. We do expect tremendous growth to continue in 2021. I'm excited for the businesses that are filling the shops on Meridian, new businesses coming in along Milton Way, and the development of the Lloyd's gravel pit on 5th Avenue. We will continue to improve and maintain our infrastructure, traffic calming measures, beautification, park improvements, walkability, and code cleanup as well in 2021. And this is all being done in an effort to maintain our small town feel while attracting businesses and growing into the future. So like Mayor Roscoe said, I will be available for questions afterwards as well. Thank you, Laura.
Ensley. No, not Ensley. There's Edgewood. Edinburgh.
Well, I guess it's me. I'm in the echo chamber, so if you guys got a little feedback, it's because I'm sitting in a little cubicle that has some feedback. It's always a pleasure, and to Mayor Roscoe's point, I want to show you, I do have notes, just in case you think I do this all off the cuff. It's always a pleasure to be invited to share with the chamber. All three of our mayors are excited about sharing with you what's going on in our cities. I want to thank all of you business people as well for your support during this incredibly hard time for local business. I want to keep my comments brief because we all like the questions at the end. I like to answer for Shannon. I like to answer for Kim, so it could be more fun that way. We have a great team in Edgewood, and the professionalism and forward thinking, which makes my job easier. Our council support and direction serve the community well. Highlights that we have for 2020, we as well did have just over $200,000 of CARES Act money, which we gave to the Nourish Food Bank for the entire Tacoma and Edgewood area. But most of all, you know, I'm excited about our magazine, the Edgewood Magazine, award-winning magazine. We actually took over publishing that ourselves instead of the company that we had before. And I think with phenomenal results. If any of you want a copy of that, the next issue will be coming out in a couple of weeks. Send me a note and email, you know, at mayor@cityofedgewood.org. I'll get you one sent out, but it is also available on our website. In Edgewood, we completely overhauled our permitting process from the beginning to the end, using SmartGov to facilitate 100% electronic applications and an online data dashboard. We launched a new website this year with GIS capability. We also initiated C-Click Fix, so that people can just take a picture of something with their phones. Others may already have that. We did not. And we also increased public Wi-Fi throughout the area. So public Wi-Fi is available from City Hall area all the way over to our parks up to, and so that you don't have to have separate Wi-Fi abilities. You know, we all struggled when schools went home. All three of our cities struggled when schools went to home to be able to provide some additional resources for schools to be able to have kids have Wi-Fi and be connected to their school assignments. New home starts last year in Edgewood were 138 new starts, 71 finishes, multi-family starts 54, finishes 250. Total other permit activity 240 permits issued with 180 finals. Big loss to us in the city, our police chief Michael Lundberg was promoted in the sheriff's department to the number 3 position in the sheriff's department. We have a new chief that we're excited about, Mark Berry. We have several large public works projects going on. Shannon, great pictures, by the way. That really shows the kind of thing that people like to see. We've got several street projects going on right on Meridian and also at the bottom of the hill off of Sumner Heights Road. But the big thing for us is our new Edgewood Community Park, Phase 1, which will be complete probably before the end of the summer. Our goal in Edgewood continues to deliberately build a city while holding on to our roots and identity. And I can share with you that lots of people within our cities, all 3 of our cities, often get really upset when progress comes along and they don't necessarily like some of the outcomes. But I want to thank you for your time. Open for any questions. Any of the 3 of us. Am I still echoing? Do I need to delete out so that, okay.
I think when your microphone is on, though, we get the echo.
I can mute myself. I will do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be good, at least when you're talking. And when you don't talking, then I unmute yourself. Thank you. Thank you, all 3 of you. We really appreciate the time and effort that you have taken to put together your remarks. Let's see, I just want to let people know that I don't have any questions yet in the Q&A, but I have written down a few questions. And I can also unmute people. So if you would like to ask a question, raise your hand and I will allow you to talk and you can ask your question. I did have someone call me earlier today and who wanted to ask a question of Mayor Roscoe. So I will start with this question. She is a business owner here in Fife and is very concerned that the homeless situation has increasingly gotten worse over the last year, and it's you know, gotten a little out of control. They want to know, are there things that are being done? What sort of things are you talking about, and what steps can be taken to address the homeless issue?
All right. Thank you, Laura. I think I am unmuted. Is that correct?
Yep, you're good.
So definitely, I agree that there has been a significant amount. Well, it's definitely gotten to be a more visible problem. I cannot confirm it's more. It just definitely is visible. But anecdotally, I would want to say yes, it is a bigger problem. And the city is doing everything that it can to alleviate the impacts that are occurring on both the residents and the businesses. Our hands are tied by the court deciding and basically mandating that being homeless is not a crime in and of itself. And we can all recognize that there is some criminal behavior that often occurs with the folks in those encampments. But the pandemic has kind of doubled down on how to deal with that, in that arrests, folks being incarcerated really has been lessened to a huge extent. I do want to invite anyone to email me directly, and I do have an email here. We are working with the law. I'm looking at an email specifically from our city manager to a resident up in Fife Heights to see if there's anything specific I can talk to or speak to in relation to what to expect. We are working in with the law to seek accountability while also trying to find out-of-the-box solutions. Construction is slated to commence on State Route 167, Stage 1B. This will further disrupt the area over at the base of the Fife Heights community. This will disrupt the area for many of the homeless individuals. We are also working with our partners at the Tribe and the Washington State Department of Transportation that have parcels within this area with active encampments. We are also working on a jobs program akin to what you may recall was done in the country in the 30s and 40s to provide work and housing. On that note, I would invite folks to go to the city's website. We had a city council meeting study session last night. Unfortunately, I was only on for the very first part of it because my son's graduating from Fife High School, so there was a graduation event that I tuned in for. But I've heard that there was an excellent presentation on the jobs program that is coming, and I was looking out of the corner of my eye. I haven't been able to log on and watch the 90-minute meeting, but I was also seeing alternative housing. So I know that Fife is starting down the road, so to speak, of making some sincere, active efforts for working through that issue within our city limits. We're also, as many on that I can see, as Shanna and Daryl know, there's been an ongoing conversation among Pierce County leaders, and that group is coming to a point where it hopes to start an interlocal agreement with participating cities. And that effort has earned the name South Sound Housing Affordability Partnerships, because we all know that housing affordability is part of the reason for there being a homeless issue. So there's another effort that I'm involved with to address the situation that folks are seeing. Laura, do you feel like that was an answer to the question? Like, did I hit kind of what you feel like that person wanted to hear about?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for that. And I also want to thank the police department because Chief Fisher met with these business owners and tried to address some of their issues, and they're going to be working together. So something that I would you know, just let everyone know if there's issues, you know, let someone know, because I know that all three of these cities are willing to work with people to address the issues that people are having.
Laura, I just wanted to follow up. I'm thinking of an email, a group email that I've been involved with, and I think it's really a good point that folks need to say something when they see something, so to speak, because, you know, you'll have the neighbor that say, well, 4 people's houses have been broken into recently, and then you talk to the police department and there's been no reports of burglaries. So without those statistics being recorded, there can't be an anecdotal response from your government. You can't just by word of mouth or trust someone's judgment that there's a problem. There really does need to be this ongoing record of the issues. So I agree with you. If you have to say when there's an issue, you have to reach out, either formally, if it's urgent, of course, 911. But I know on our website, there are other opportunities for non-urgent reports. Thank you.
Thank you. I see we do have a question here. This is from Jessie Holden, and looks like it's for all 3 mayors. She says, thank you, mayors, for all the wonderful ways that you have supported the community through this pandemic. Do you have any preliminary plans for supporting your residents with future CARES funding? And let's start with Mayor Styron Sherrill on this one.
Yeah, so I haven't checked emails today. So as of yesterday, we haven't gotten concrete information on how to really spend that money. So we have received some generic guidelines. So we've had discussions. Again, this money doesn't have to be spent till 2024, I believe. And so we're kind of waiting to see what Pierce County does with the funding as well before we then supplement a need in our community. But in talks so far, we really want to focus on the infrastructure part of this funding, just because we all know we don't have enough money for infrastructure. So anything that we can do to improve that, we definitely want to do. But nothing is concrete. We haven't gone to council. We are just waiting at this point.
Thank you. Mayor Eidinger?
I would have to agree. So far, none of the cities, I think, have the information about where these funds can or cannot be spent. The federal government has a big focus on infrastructure, and all of our cities have areas of infrastructure that they could use some support. The federal government has been supporting lots of the citizens directly with benefits, unemployment benefits, and those kind of things. Our city has not had any clarification, just like Mayor Styron Sherrill has said. We really don't have the absolute truth, but we do have several years to figure out how to make it happen, which helps us all, because any of these projects that we have that require planning or design or any of the rest of that, those can run 3, 4, 5 years out from the beginning to the end. So that's all I have. We will spend it as wisely as we can to benefit the citizens of the city.
All right, thank you. Mayor Roscoe.
Well, I think it's fair to say ditto. I do, you looked at Milton's numbers around what they allocated and what they were able to get out. Honestly, one of the challenges for us has been getting the utility assistance that we want to be in our citizens' hands out to them. I believe we even involved a third-party agency around getting that money out specifically into homeowners, renters, into their hands. So there's, the city has not in and of itself had a negative, severe negative impact financially from the pandemic. So our money, we do want to get out to its intended recipients. And I don't mean to say that there's other jurisdictions who are going to be cagey about, how they spend the money because the city itself needs it more than the residents or the businesses. I'm just saying that it is a difficult process. There's hurdles somehow that we haven't fully identified how to get over. So I'll just say there are plans to spend the money as it is intended to be spent, and we'll do our best to make that happen.
Thank you. So I do have.
Laura, can I add something? Can I add something to Mayor Roscoe's? Yeah. I wanted to say something that Mayor Roscoe said about getting the fundings out. I mean, we were really surprised that the money we allocated to give back to the community was not applied for. And, even with the utility assistance program, we kept raising the amount of income you could make in order to get that money out. So, we have a new website, just like the city of Edgewood. We put it on the reader board. We put it in our utility billing. I mean, we put it on Facebook. We tried to get the information out. We just didn't. I was shocked that the $50,000 wasn't swooped up for those utility bills. And it's same with the small businesses. We made it so simple. You really just had to check the box that you were affected by COVID. There was no paperwork. There was nothing. So, but something that Mayor Roscoe said about getting it out to the people that need it the most, I think infrastructure is really important, and it does help meet the need of our community in a different way. So it may not be a check going out to a resident or a credit applied to the utility bill, but anything that can help our city from that perspective is really important. And so I don't see us I think we're getting 1.8 million completely on infrastructure, but I think it will be a big focus for us.
All right, thank you. So one of the questions here, Mayor Steyer and Cheryl, you mentioned in your PowerPoint about the business, or about the permits that have been issued. And I'm curious to know from all three of you, if whether or not you know, and it's okay if you don't know this offhand, I don't expect you to, but about, there was a lot of building and activity that went on this last year. About how much, what percentage is it that's commercial or business permits, and how much is residential building permits? And doesn't matter who. We start with Mayor Roscoe.
Well, I'll start. I don't think I'll just off the cuff. And if there's a participant on here from Russ is on. I don't know if he's actively hearing. I would say it's mostly business for us. I can't think of any housing projects coming online. Does that answer the question? I mean, like, you don't need to know the number. You're just talking about percentage, right?
Yeah. I'm just wondering, are there more business permits happening now, or more building residential permits?
Yeah, I think it's business for 5.
Okay.
Well, in Edgewood, it would go the other way. We do have a plan in right now that has a 5-story building that's going to have parking underneath it, and retail on the first floor and apartments on the other. But Shanna and I met with the business that everybody's been asking about. We did meet with the future owners, or I guess they're owners, yes, of Grocery Outlet, and they're moving into the old herb store down at the far end next to the dollar store. So we will have a second grocery ability here in the city. It may not be the Trader Joe's or something that everybody thinks they want, or the Whole Foods, but it'll be another location that you can pick up groceries. And Edgewood is certainly participating in the crowdedness of the grocery stores in our area. So, but part of that, when people ask about what businesses are coming or not coming, in Edgewood, we hired a company. We've had them on board for 3 years that talks to us about what they call leakage, how much of the dollars that are made by people within your city are going somewhere else to be spent, and the leakage rate in Edgewood is very, very high. But again, the complaint that we get is we want to maintain that rural outlook, but we also want to have all the full retail options that everybody wants. And to get to those numbers, we have to have more rooftops for stores to be able to be successful. And the challenge for us as well is, like Mayor Roscoe has pointed out in previous years, they have 3 times as many people in their city in the daytime creating great jobs for our area than the number of residents they have when everybody goes home after work. In Edgewood, we're adding some more facilities on our south side that will employ, we're hoping up to 400 or 500 more people within the area. Those are all good signs for our economy in general. So that's, but in terms of how many commercial, I think Shanna has stolen all the retail options for most of us for the last year. So good on you.
All right, Shanna, do you have anything?
Yeah, I don't have a percentage. I actually just got out of a meeting prior to this on development, and if I scan kind of our reports, it's all business. I mean, it's not all business, but it's majority business. So we do have some houses popping up. Mainly it is, when someone buys a property and then they tear a house down and put 4 or 5 on, or 2. But for the most part in 2020 and what I see happening in 2021, it's business development.
Okay, thank you. That's great. That's great news. And Russ Blunt did say that Mayor Roscoe is correct, almost exclusively business construction in Fife. All right, well, thank you so much. I don't have any other questions. I don't know if there's any other last minute words that you would like to say, and if so, now is your chance.
I can just add a couple things that I didn't have in my presentation. We are really looking forward to reopening. We are set to open City Hall on June 14th, and we'll resume in-person council meetings and other public meetings. Of course, keeping in compliance with whatever OPMA requirements are out there by the governor at that time. We are moving forward with something on Milton Days. We haven't released what, but there will be something on that day. It is August 14th this year, which just happens to be my son's 16th birthday. So I'll have to find a way to embarrass him at that event. And then it is our plan to start reconvening our programming in the MAC probably early July. So that date is not set in stone, but that's kind of a goal. So yeah, we're just looking forward to coming back together and looking for ways to reunite and come together as a community. So we're looking forward to 2021 and really looking forward to 2022.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. That's great news. Edgewood and Fife, do you have any plans of opening up your City Hall yet?
We are in the final stages in Edgewood of when that will be exactly. But I did want to pump something that Shanna and I are involved in. We do have a good-natured community activity where the police departments of Milton and Edgewood are going to be playing the firefighters from the same area on, I think it's June 7th or July 17th, which is the normal day for the Edgewood picnic. Edgewood picnic is not going to come together this year because, we're dependent on sponsors and other things, and this is just too short a notice to be able to get anything other than we could probably do hot dogs in a barrel somewhere. But that's not the plan for the picnic in its normal form. So we do have this game coming together that's going to be down at CTS Field in Milton on the 17th of July. So you're going to watch the police department really whoop up on the fire department. So as a combined effort. So that's what we got.
Which, Daryl, I have to add, it's going to put us in an awkward position here at City Hall if the firefighters beat the police officers, since East Pierce is now home here at City Hall.
Well, it's your problem. It'll come back to me later.
All right, Mayor Roscoe.
The city of Fife pretty early on opted to not hold in-person events, and at this point we are not pivoting from that. So we will continue with the style of events that we had last year around the drive-through. Well, all the way out to December, I'm not sure of, but we won't be holding an in-person harvest festival. I think it'll be a drive-through event. And that's pretty disappointing, but it's just so hard to know what's going to happen in the fall. I honestly think that some of the events that are happening a little more quickly, like August and Edgewood's event, may be easier to kind of rein in and make happen. So I just want everyone to stay tuned. We all have the websites and we are all accessible individuals. We have staff members that are accessible. So keep reaching out and stay informed. We, as well, as Mayor Eidinger mentioned, we took our publication of our magazine in-house, and pretty proud of it, as I'm sure Edgewood's is. And Edgewood was the one that we actually got the idea from a few years ago to go with an annual publication or a biannual. So thank you to the businesses in the Fife, Milton, Edgewood area. We do want to see you thrive and survive and not languish during these weird times. It continues to feel like kind of a three-ring circus, but we just got to keep communicating and supporting each other. And I think that we will continue to find success within our community. So thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Speaking of events, we have started doing one in-person event every month with the chamber, and that's our weekly C3 meeting. And the first meeting of the month on the first Tuesday, it's a live in-person meeting at Edgewood City Hall. So, if you're wanting some in-person interaction, that's a good place to come. And then I'm also hoping that this is our last virtual type event. I'm hopeful. I haven't heard confirmation yet on when the Emerald Queen will be opening up again, but I'm hopeful that July we can have an event, and if not July, then August. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to getting some in-person events going again for the chamber. And speaking of that, if anyone of you have any ideas for speakers for the chamber meetings, please feel free to let me know, because I'm starting to think about that and get people lined up for in-person luncheons. And with that, we will end our meeting, but I just again want to thank all of the mayors. Thank you so much. Oh, and I see here there's a comment on May 25th, our C3 group will have a guest presenter from Workforce Central. So that should be a good one. And that's Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. So with that, thank you all again, and hope that you have a great afternoon. Bye.
Thank you.